Everyone settled in.
Mike, we're gonna start. So maybe like a 6-second countdown.
This one had to go.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. I am Clarissa Rodriguez, Chair of the New York State Workers' Compensation Board. Today's meeting of the full board is being webcast live for members of the public, so welcome. It is also facilitated by an American Sign Language interpreter. Thank you, interpreter, for joining us today. I now have the honor of calling the 1032nd meeting of the full board to order. Madam Secretary, will you please call attendance?
Vice Chair Foster,
Here.
Board Member Higgins,
Here.
Board Member Lobin,
Here.
Board Member Williams,
Here.
Board Member Hull,
Here.
Board Member Crane,
Here.
Board Member Stasko,
Here.
Board Member Tavares,
Here.
Board Member Caginelli,
Here.
Board Member Delon,
Here.
Board Member Delgado,
Here.
and Board Member Perez.
Here.
We have a full board today, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Agenda item 1, approval of the April 16th meeting minutes. You have all received a copy of the meeting minutes for your review, board members. Are there any questions or need for discussion? Okay. May I please have a motion to accept the board meeting minutes from April 16th, 2024?
Madam Chair, I move to accept the minutes.
Thank you, Board Member Williams. Is there a second?
Yes, I move to second it.
Okay, thank you, Board Member Stasko. Is there any opposition to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, board members, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I am also a yes, that motion is passed. Thank you, board members. Agenda item 2, Office of General Counsel's Departmental Report. General Counsel Heather McMaster will now present the Office of General Counsel's Departmental Report for the month of April.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Madam Vice Chair, board members. In April of 2024, the Office of General Counsel's Adjudication Division held 17,548 hearings. 11,230 of these were resolved at hearing, and they issued 318 reserved decisions. 2,209 waiver agreements were finalized. In the Administrative Review Division, 1,049 applications were received, 895 were processed, and there are currently 7,207 applications pending. In the Legal Affairs Division, 85 full board review applications were received, 86 were processed, and there are currently 205 pending. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Heather. Board members, are there any questions or need for discussion? Okay, hearing none, may I please have a motion to accept the Office of General Counsel's Departmental Report for the month of April?
Yes, Madam Chair, I move that we approve the report of the Chief Counsel.
Thank you very much, Board Member Higgins. Is there a second?
I second that motion, Board Member Hall.
Thank you, Board Member Hall. Is there any opposition to the motion? Okay, seeing none, board members, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I am also a yes, that motion is passed. Thank you, board members. Agenda item 3, license applications. Associate Attorney Heather Justice will now present the licensing applications for the last one.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, board members, and colleagues. You have before you the recommendations from the assigned board panel regarding the licensing applications listed in Part 3 of today's agenda. Pursuant to Section 24A, there were no applications. Pursuant to Section 53B, we have CompCare Services, LLC. The qualifying officer is William Jones, and this is to be held in abeyance for 1 year. Under Section 53D, we have Cottingham and Butler Claim Services, LLC, also with William Jones as the qualifying officer, and we are recommending 3 years. I present these recommendations to the board for your consideration.
Thank you, Heather. Are there any questions or need for discussions, board members? Okay, hearing none. Board members, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed? I am also a yes, that motion is passed. Thank you. Oh.
You didn't call it.
I was like, wait, I kind of skipped a pretty important part.
Chair, I move to accept the
Yes,
licensing
I
application.
got ahead of
as
myself.
as
There should be a
presented by-
motion first.
I move that we accept Heather Justice's licensing application is reviewed.
And
Yes,
this is Board Member
thank
Laura
you.
Logan, the second the motion.
Okay, thank you so much, board members. Now, is there any opposition to the motion? Okay, well, board members all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, I am also a yes, then that motion is passed. Agenda item 4, legal appeals. Heather McMaster will now present the recommendations concerning decisions by the appellate division.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is the recommendation of the Office of General Counsel that the appellate division decisions in items 4A through 4E be adopted as the opinions of the board.
Thank you. Board members, may I please have a motion to accept the recommendations of the Office of General Counsel?
Madam Chair, this is Board Member Canginelli, and I move to accept the legal appeals as presented.
Thank you, Board Member Caginelli. Is there a second?
Board Member Laura Logan, the second the motion.
Thank you,
Madam
Board.
Chair.
Thank you, Board Member Loban. Is there any opposition to the motion? Okay, hearing no opposition, board members all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, I am also a yes, that motion is passed. Thank you. Agenda item 5, there are no mandatory cases for review this month, so we'll move on to our discretionaries. And I now turn this portion of the agenda over to Vice Chair Frida Foster. Good morning.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the cases listed in item 6 of your agenda, full board review has been recommended. Those cases are 6A, matter of New York State docks, 6B, matter of docks, Coxsackie Correctional Facility, and 6C, New York State Division of Homeland. I move to refer the cases back to their respective panels for further consideration.
Thank you, Vice Chair Foster. Are there any recusals from this matter?
Yes, Madam Chair. Board Member Delgado, I asked to be recused from 6A, matter of NYS docks.
Okay, permission granted. Is there a motion to, well, you've made the motion. Is there a second to that motion?
Second the motion.
Thank you, Board Member Zalan. Is there any opposition to the motion?
No, ma'am.
Okay, hearing no opposition. Board members, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed? I am also a yes, that motion is passed. Thank you, board members. Agenda item 7, is there any other business to consider this month? Okay, hearing none, then we'll move on to our guest speaker today, which is Anthony Tomaselli, the board's advocate for business. As the Workers' Compensation Board's advocate for business, Anthony leads the office that serves as a liaison between New York's business community and the board, providing helpful assistance to employers on issues related to workers' compensation, disability benefits, and paid family leave. Anthony joined the board after more than 8 years at the New York State Office of General Services, where he helped build the successful New York State Service-Disabled Veterans-Owned Business Program, or SDVOB. He also served at the Empire State Development Corporation, the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services, as a social studies teacher in the Brentwood, Seaford, and New Lebanon school districts, and as a paratrooper in the U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne Division. Thank you so much for being here this morning, Anthony. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. So let me just test out my clicker real quick. Make sure I'm good. So thank you for the nice bio, by the way. I think it's very helpful to talk a little bit about my past. As I get into what I'm going to talk about today, I'm going to review an outreach summary, really, of what I've done for the last year. Outreach is a big part of what we do in the Advocate for Business office. And it's a big part of what I had to do with that previous role at OGS, with the Service Disabled Veteran-Owned Business Program. So that law was passed in 2014. They created a law that we're going to try to give a certain number of state contracts, a certain percentage of state contracts, a pretty high percentage, for 6% for that population. And so we had to implement this law, put it into practice. How do we give 6% of the state's contracts to disabled veterans if we don't know where those businesses are? So a huge part of building that program is getting out across the state and finding disabled veteran-owned businesses to certify them so that we could meet that goal, the goal of the legislation. So I spent the better part of the last 8 years trying to find businesses in New York State. So I'm kind of plugged into the small business development network in New York State, and I've tried to leverage that as much as I can in this position here at the board. I also kind of want to plug, I just got an email the other day, it was the 10-year anniversary of that legislation, and we have awarded over $1 billion to disabled veteran-owned businesses in New York State in the last 10
That's
years.
amazing.
Plug New York State for that. It was a pretty significant accomplishment. We never really thought that we would get anywhere close to that when we started out. So, but that's the past. Here I am today with the Workers' Compensation Board. I'm going to review what we did for the last year with our outreach. So, I think you're all familiar with the Advocate for Business office. We generally have contact with businesses through two ways. We have businesses coming to us, right? They're calling us on the phone, they're sending us email, they're asking us for help. But then we're trying to go out there and get to the businesses because we want to do two things. We want to hear what they have to say about their experience with the Workers' Compensation Board, and we want to educate them because there's a great need for education. The longer I'm in this role and the more I talk to businesses, the more I really become aware how little people know about the Workers' Compensation Board, about workers' compensation insurance, about how the system works in general. So I'm trying to do that, trying to go out there and connect with these businesses, not wait for them to come to me, go out there and get to them. So I kind of set myself a few priorities for the first year. Educate the startups and the small businesses. They seem to be the ones who need the most help. The number one reason employers contact us, contact my office, is that they've gotten a penalty letter from the board. And they need help. They don't know what to do. They don't know why they got it. They have no idea. So we try to help them. And really when I started saying right from the beginning is, man, I want to get to these people before this happens. I want to talk to these businesses and educate them and help them so they don't get these penalty letters at all, that they're in compliance, that they follow the law, that they take care of their workers appropriately before they get into trouble. So that's my number one goal. So to try to do that, I really want to look at what we were doing with our outreach. My predecessor was getting out there. The board does a lot of outreach. I wanted to kind of get a better picture of it. So I really worked with my team to start keeping better records of where we're going, what we're doing, and who we're doing it with. And then use that information to kind of try to be a little bit smarter and a little more strategic about what I'm doing so that I can kind of shift the posture of the office from being reactive, helping people when they come to us, to being proactive, trying to get to people before they come to us needing help. So that's what I've done. And I put this together, started tracking the information that the team's doing, that we're making calls, right? I already had an idea of the different types of groups that I wanted to talk to. Just started making lists and their contacts and basic metrics related to those organizations that we're reaching out to, and just tracking it so that not just the events that we did, not just, where did we go, who did we do a presentation with, but who are we trying to do stuff with? Who did we call? Who blew us off? Who worked with us? Who was able to connect us with another partner? Like, this is all helpful information to kind of try to get a better picture of what we're doing. So we're tracking the types of organizations, the types of activities and events that we're doing with them, the number of attendees and stakeholders, and then also the region, because I do want to make sure that we're getting a good spread across the whole state, that we're not just getting sucked down into one part of the state, that we're getting to businesses everywhere. New York is a big state, right? So how do we do that? Well, here are the numbers that we got. So we're calling people, we're reaching out to people, we're not waiting for them to come to us. We're almost cold calling. It's almost like a sales and marketing operation. So we reached out to 170 organizations over the last year. Out of those organizations, 47 of those agencies were willing to do something with us. So my success rate on calls is 28%, and that's a pretty important number for me because as I'm trying to tell my staff, okay, how many calls do we need to make each week in order to keep our calendar full, it allows us to kind of dial it up, dial it down, see where we're going, see what we're doing. Total number of outreach events we did last year, 73. Okay, so you can see the numbers don't exactly match up there, but that's because some of these organizations did more than one thing with us. They turned out to be really good partners. There's a lot of repeat customers, if you will. Sometimes we double up, sometimes we cross over, but it works out pretty good. Our attendance for the events that we've done over the past year is 2,585 employers that we've spoken to. I'd like to do more, and we're going to try to do more. Hopefully this information will help us do more. So here we are. This is the breakdown of the types of events that we've done. The most popular offering is the webinar. They're easy to do. People love it. They don't have to get space. They can market it, advertise it, put a link on a website, pull people in, do a webinar. I push for the in-person presentations. I really like that face-to-face contact. So I think we did a fair amount of those. We do get out there. We do tabling events. People come talk to us. And then sometimes we get lucky and we can do both. We can table and do a presentation. And then occasionally we get pulled into other things, you know, like a networking breakfast or a dinner or something. But hey, if I can talk to business owners and I'm there, I'm going to go and we're going to see what we can do. Where did we go? Okay, so this is the footprint of the organizations that we worked with. You can see we did quite a lot with organizations that are statewide, but I think, you know, we did a pretty fair spread. I was kind of consciously trying to do that. It helps to look at the data after the fact and see like, hey, we did a pretty good job of making sure that we hit every single part of the state. So I'm pretty happy to see that and share that with you, that we are getting across the whole state. And then the types of organizations that we are doing things with. We do mostly the professional associations seem very happy to work with us. That's kind of where we're looking at. You know, these are all organizations, professional associations, chambers of commerce, the small business development centers at the SUNY campuses, not-for-profits that are out there doing small. They're looking for what we have to offer, right? They're out there trying to deliver things to their members. You know, if you join a professional association or you join a chamber of commerce, what are you getting for being there? Well, they put on these educational programs, they give offerings out there. So it's not like we're reaching out and giving people something that they aren't looking for. So that's why you can see those are the biggest ones, the professional associations, the chambers, because they're happy to have, you know, some of them are regularly doing events, programs, things like that, so they're happy to add us to the mix. So that's a pretty good spread. Most of these people, again, I have some of these contacts from my previous role, but I think it's important to keep track of our contacts with them because personnel change, people turn over, you know, sometimes the person here is not there anymore. So trying to stay plugged in. Ideally, what I would like to do, bigger picture, not just the Workers' Compensation Board business, but for helping businesses in general, is start to connect the dots between these types of organizations and the regions. So that if we know when we can get far enough ahead of ourselves in our scheduling with what we're doing, that we know, okay, so I'm going to be out in Western New York next Thursday talking to a Chamber of Commerce. Let me try to see if I can make the most of that trip. Let me see if I can double up, find another group or another organization in the region. Maybe we could do something together. If we can't do something together, at least, you know, the next day, so that we're not driving back and forth across the state 2 days in a row or 2 different days. So, you know, the more we keep track of this information, the more we can plan. And again, be strategic, be smart about what we're doing, be efficient, and also, again, connect the dots. These people all want to work together with each other too. You know, they don't just want to work with the board. And if we can help promote that, especially as I said, there's a lot of turnover in these organizations. If we can help promote that, we can help connect the dots and say, hey, you know, I was just in your neighborhood. I was talking to these other folks. Maybe you want to do something with them. I consider that a win for small businesses. So what am I going to try to do next year? Well, keep doing what we're doing. I want to expand. I want to add additional target groups. I kind of have been mostly focused on the smalls, like the really smalls. I think they need the most help. You know, they're trying to do it on their own, everything, not just handle their insurance responsibilities. They're trying to run a business. As you get bigger, you can start to hire people to help. But I do want to focus a little more on larger businesses and the self-insured employers that haven't really been getting there as much as I would like in the last year. I'm noticing municipal workers. We do a code enforcement presentation on demand that, as I'm speaking to businesses and seeing this presentation out there, I'm starting to realize we need to do more of that. And I wasn't really sure that that was the advocate for businesses' responsibility. But what I'm discovering is a lot of the municipalities around the state are giving out bad information or out-of-date information. And the business owners are getting that, and it's confusing them, and it's disrupting their activities. So I really kind of want to ramp that up and essentially repeat the exercise that I'm doing with the small business development centers and the chambers and the professional associations, but with all the municipalities, to talk to the people who are giving out the building permits and the contracts, because they are interacting with so many businesses, and make sure that we can sort of train the trainer, teach these people to get out there and teach these businesses that they come in contact with what the law says, what they're supposed to do, and how to, again, stay out of trouble, do their business, keep generating economic activity, and keep the state of New York running the way that it is. Second thing there, I want to create a little more content. I would like to have a menu of offerings when I go out there and talk to these business owners and these organizations, not just keep running out there with the same presentations. Offer them a little more variety in what we're talking about. Topics that I'm really kind of keying into that I think really resonate with the business owners is risk control, safety, return to work programs. Talk to any employer in New York State, you ask them what the #1 problem is, finding good help. Everybody, no matter how big or how small the business is, they're all telling me I can't find good workers. So protect the ones that you have, right? Focus on safety, focus on risk control. If it's so hard to find good workers, let's keep the ones that we have and keep them safe and look out for them. So I think we could do a little more like that. And again, just all in the same context of being proactive, looking ahead. I really don't like to be told where I'm going. I want to go where I want to go. You know, I want to be steering the ship, not just floating along where people take me. So that's pretty much all I got for you. I more or less put this together really just to kind of show my team, like, hey, look, this is what we've done. I keep talking about I want to see it, right? I want to see it. I want to see what we're doing. And so that's where getting the numbers, getting the information, putting it into a few simple charts, but it really kind of helps open it up so that you can see and look at what you're doing. And show it to Clarissa.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to come and show it to the board members? So here I am. Happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Well,
And
thank
again,
you.
really glad to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anthony. That was a great presentation.
You have the main criteria, enthusiasm.
Yes, yes, here, here. Well, thank you so much, Anthony. All right, board members. That concludes our meeting. May I please have a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I second that.
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I am also a yes. Meeting adjourned.